Friends, as you know that biodiversity underpins the functioning of the ecosystem that provides wide range of services to the human societies. And degradation of biodiversity resulted into multiple risks for businesses, and this has been worldwide recognized also. And there are enough evidences now that the businesses impact biodiversity, and that has resulted in the environmental degradation and the biodiversity losses. So it is very important that the private sector is also engaged in the process of investing, because I myself see that a lot of initiatives are happening in the social impact side of investment. But for the environmental investment side, I personally feel that we are still lagging behind 10, 15 years. And that's today's context of the deliberation is about this, that how to engage the private sector in the biodiversity conservation and biodiversity financing and the case studies around it. The businesses need to really identify the operational risks associated with the biodiversity losses and identify the value of the key ecosystem services and establish their direct or indirect financial investment to conserve that value of an ecosystem in the long term. I can tell you based on my own experience, because we work in the organic side of this, and since last 18, 19 years we have been working in this space. And we feel that when we have really started investing in this side, in the long term, this is really helping us to sustain our businesses. And essentially, when I'm talking investment, that we invested with our consumers to make them aware of the practices in the conservation of biodiversity and the organic agriculture per se.
This is the 13th summit. I'm happy to say that in some ways my organization has been involved in being a part of this summit, assisting in whatever way we are requested to, with a general guidance with regard to several environmental, ecological related matters. We have also been part of the introduction that Suhash gave about the IBBI. We've also been part of the framework of that particular process. I'm glad to say that having seen a little bit of this area across the world, this particular body, the IBBI, is perhaps unique in its both its formation, its curricula, and its work going forward as far as the country is concerned. Globally, few such models exist, and I'm happy this is going forward in India. The issue that comes up in this and similar sessions again and again is the relationship of biodiversity or relationship of ecology, environment with regard to business and industry. And some ways the involvement of not only just society and the business ecosystem, but also with regard to profitability, existence, and so on and so forth.
Most of our operations, you can see directly, are connected and dependent on biodiversity and ecosystem. That's how, in totality, we see this biodiversity, which is a very, very, I think, wider term, and ecosystem also together, whereby we consume a lot of resources, and which I think Ravi has already touched upon. For business sustainability, these resources are coming from the ecosystem, which is very, very important for a business to sustain. So I look at this sustainability as we have already heard about the three P principles, which talks about the starting with profit, then people and planet, which nothing but ultimately is telling all businesses to act socially responsible, environmentally sustainable, and economically viable. I think these three things can make the entire business sustainable.
So I would say, like, let's say, take the example of the apparel that you wear. Now, the brand has the closest relationship to the customer. Every customer has a favorite brand, right? So you look up to your brand to be showing the way. So whilst consumers do, drive the demand, but businesses also can be behaving responsibly and pass those signals down to their supply chain right till the bottom for responsible behavior down the supply chain.
So
it's
do you
not
have
one
any case study where the manufacturer has invested into the supply chain and reaping a good benefit out of this? Maybe in India?
There are many case studies, but the one that I'm closely familiar with is, I don't know if you're familiar with a factory called Pratibha Syntex in Indore. They're a sustainable factory. They produce only garments out of sustainable cotton. And I think this has given them a distinct advantage in terms of being able to differentiate themselves in terms of reputation and hence enjoy not just good business, but also a reputation which is today very important for businesses. It's been a successful case study as I've been following it. But organic is a system. It's a system which, sort of farmers don't use chemical or synthetic inputs. They use seeds that are not genetically modified. And it is a system in which nature's balance is restored. So organic is beyond just not using certain things or doing certain things or GMOs or non-GMOs. I know there are big scientific debates about all these issues, but I think the point we are trying to make over here is in the organic system, you encourage biodiversity, the microbes, the microbial activity in the soil increases, and you're not killing the natural systems within the soil. And I think that is really important in this world today. In fact, you have just emphasized what we have all been trying to say, the importance of maintaining a system that is not chemical intensive or, sort of where chemicals kill the natural microbes that also exist in nature's balance or which make a balance in the natural system of a farm.